Title: Core Programming Thinking. What makes code maintainable? Hello, everyone. Today, let's talk about one of the most important concepts in software development: maintainable code. Many beginners believe that programming is only about making the code work. If the program runs and produces the correct output, they think the job is finished. But in the real world, writing code is only the beginning. A program may work perfectly today, but what happens after 6 months when new features are added? What happens when another developer joins the project? What happens when you return to your own code after a year and cannot understand what you wrote? This is where maintainability becomes important. Maintainable code is code that is easy to understand, modify, fix, test, and extend. Let's explore what makes code maintainable. First, maintainable code is readable. Code is read far more often than it is written. Imagine you write this: A equals 50,000, B equals 0.15, C equals A asterisk B. The code works. But what do A, B, and C represent? Now compare it with salary equals 50,000, tax rate equals 0.15, tax amount equals salary asterisk tax rate. The second version immediately explains itself. Good variable names reduce confusion and help future developers understand the purpose of the code. Always choose meaningful names. A good name is often better than a long comment. Second, maintainable code is simple. Many programmers try to write clever code. For example, they create complex one-line expressions to impress others. However, simple code is usually better than clever code. If a piece of code takes several minutes to understand, it will become difficult to maintain. Whenever possible, choose the simplest solution that solves the problem correctly. Remember this rule: code is written once, but read many times. Optimize for readability first. Third, maintainable code follows a consistent style. Imagine reading a book where every page uses a different font, different spacing, and different grammar rules. It will be difficult to read. The same applies to code. Consistent indentation, naming conventions, formatting, and project structure make the code easier to navigate. For example, if one developer uses camel case and another uses random naming styles, the project becomes harder to understand. Consistency creates predictability. Predictability improves maintainability. Fourth, maintainable code avoids duplication. This principle is often called DRY, which stands for don't repeat yourself. Suppose you copy the same calculation into 10 different places. Later, the business rule changes. Now you must update all 10 locations. If you forget one, bugs appear. Instead, place the calculation inside a function and reuse it. For example, def calculate tax salary. Return salary asterisk 0.15. Now, every part of the application uses the same logic. When requirements change, only one location needs modification. Less duplication means easier maintenance. Fifth, maintainable code uses small functions. Beginners often create methods containing hundreds of lines. Large functions become difficult to understand. Instead, break large tasks into smaller pieces. Think of a restaurant. One person takes orders. Another prepares food. Another serves customers. Each person has a specific responsibility. Functions should work the same way. One function should perform one clear task. Small functions are easier to understand, test, debug, and reuse. Sixth, maintainable code has proper separation of responsibilities. Consider an employee management system. A single function should not connect to the database, validate user input, calculate salaries, generate reports, and send emails all at once. That creates tightly coupled code. Instead, divide responsibilities. One module handles validation. Another handles database operations. Another manages business logic. Another generates reports. This separation makes the system easier to modify and maintain. Seventh, maintainable code includes useful comments. Notice the word useful. Not every line requires comments. Bad comments explain obvious things. For example, hashtag increment I by 1. IALIKI plusin. This comment adds no value. Good comments explain why something exists or why a particular decision was made. Comments should provide context that cannot be easily understood from the code itself. Use comments carefully. Clear code should be the primary source of documentation. Eighth, maintainable code handles errors properly. Programs do not always receive perfect input. Files may be missing. Network connections may fail. Databases may become unavailable. Good code anticipates problems and handles them gracefully. Error handling prevents crashes and helps future developers understand what went wrong. A well-designed error message can save hours of debugging time. Ninth, maintainable code is testable. Testing allows developers to verify that changes do not break existing functionality. Imagine modifying a payroll system without tests. Every change introduces risk. With automated tests, developers can confidently improve the code while ensuring existing features continue to work. Testable code usually has clear responsibilities and fewer hidden dependencies. As a result, maintainability improves. 10th, maintainable code is designed for change. Requirements always change. Customers request new features. Business rules evolve. Technology changes. A maintainable system accepts change without requiring massive rewrites. This does not mean predicting every future requirement. Instead, it means creating flexible structures that can evolve over time. Good design reduces the cost of future modifications. Now let's summarize. Maintainable code is easy to read, easy to understand, easy to modify, easy to test, easy to debug, easy to extend. To achieve maintainability, use meaningful names, keep code simple, avoid duplication, create small functions, separate responsibilities, write useful comments, handle errors properly, and design for future changes. Always remember, programming is not just about making code work. Programming is about creating solutions that people, including your future self, can understand and improve. A successful developer is not the one who writes the most complex code. A successful developer is the one who writes code that remains clear, reliable, and maintainable for years. Thank you for listening.